What's going on, YouTube? It's your girl, Thickness with the Quickness, and you are watching me on my YouTube channel, baby. But before we get started, I would like for you to like me, share me, like and share me with anybody you like and you love. Anybody you like and you love, okay? And don't forget to hit the notification bell because every time your girl, Thickness with the Quickness, upload any kind of video, baby, you will be first to get notified. Y'all come on in here, everybody, okay? And I hope everybody is having a great day today, and I hope you all just saying blessed and highly favored, okay, you guys? Okay, so let me give a shout out to all my new subscribers. What's going on, baby? I'm your girl, Thickness with the Quickness. And let me give a shout out to all my old subscribers. What's good, baby, in the neighborhood? Okay, y'all. Okay, so y'all, today, you guys, today I have a story time. Yes, I do. I have a story time. So this is what you got to go do. Go on and get your juju beans and your wham whams, and y'all come on back here. And also, I want to tell you guys, you might want to go ahead and get your kids up out the room, okay? And they can come back next time to watch Thickness, okay? Because I know for sure that it's going to be some cussing. So if you guys are sensitive and you don't like cussing, and if you're thinking that it's just too much, just go ahead and leave the building right now. Because what I want to say on my show, on my channel, I say what I want to say and I do what I want to do, okay? And I don't mind you saying anything, leaving any kind of comments, but long as you be mindful in those comments, okay, y'all? That's it. That's all. Because everybody over here is grown, okay? And if you are a child, I want you to just go ahead and dismiss yourself out of here right now, because I know that this one right here gonna be one. I don't know if I'm gonna make it a part 1 and a part 2. I just don't know, y'all. We'll see, okay? So anyway, y'all go ahead and I'll be right back. You hear? Oh, I know you probably wondering why I am sitting in a moo-moo. Because y'all, I'm just chilling. I just decided to put on me a little moo-moo until it is time for me to get up out of here, you guys. Okay. What they call it back in the old days. She just lounging around. I'm just lounging around right now, y'all. And then later on, I'm going to be up out of here. Okay. And in today's world, y'all, I'm just chilling until it's time for me to leave. All right, y'all. So if it's all right with y'all, let's get started on this story time. All right, so let's go ahead with this story time. I was about 9 years old. I was living in Chicago. Of course, I was living in Chicago. So y'all, and this story is about my dad, and the reason why I'm sharing this story with you guys, because it is coming up my dad's anniversary. He is gone on to heaven right now, so it is his anniversary. Today is his anniversary, his heaven anniversary, you guys. So I want to just give a shout out to my daddy. Thank you so much. You've been a really good loving father to me. I never had to want for nothing. You always made sure I was good. Okay, y'all. So let's jump on into this story, y'all. So I'm about 9 years old, y'all. So this is how it was with my dad, because my dad stayed in another state and I stayed in Chicago. So it was like this. My dad would come up and see me about every year. My dad would come up and see me. He would come up and see me all the holidays. Either he comes on the holidays or a day or two after the holidays, okay? And that was his routine. And another thing he would do, especially around this time, like right after my birthday, he would come up and take me summer shopping. And then he would come up in September when it's time to go to school, because he'll come up and take me school shopping. So this was always his routine. You know what I mean? So I always talked to my dad on the phone. And one thing about my dad, he was a really hard discipliner. He never physical touched me. He just always threatened me, and that part I didn't care for. I didn't care for that, and I always was scared of him, because when he would come and visit me, y'all, I didn't even talk to him. I didn't even want to go sit by him. I didn't want to talk to him. I didn't want to have nothing to do with him, because he always threatened me. He always say, well, if you be bad at school, I'm gonna do this to you. You do be disrespectful to your mom, I'm gonna do this to you. It was just always like that. But at the end of the day, I knew that he loved me. You know what I'm saying? So and when he came around, I didn't care for it. I didn't care to see him. I didn't want to talk to him. I didn't want to hang out with him or anything, because I'm already in the back of my mind. I remember him saying that he'll get me, he'll punch me and do all of this stuff if I don't act right. So I never cared for him, y'all. And let me tell y'all the way my dad used to look. My dad used to look like, I don't know if anybody know, I know everybody probably know Kenny Rogers, but my dad used to look like a black Kenny Rogers, y'all. When I said the big thick beard, the real flaky, fluffy hair and things, you know, he used to have that big old, back then they call it the new bowl. There was the new bowl carefree curl, because carefree curls was out, but they had the new way, the new bow, and all that type of stuff. So my daddy always wore a new bow, and it would be nice and fluffy and curly. And he used to be so big, like how my hair is now. That's how big his hair used to be, and his beard would connect into his hair like everybody's wearing now. My daddy was the best beard wearing man ever. He always had a nice, beautiful, shaped up beard. Okay. So anyway, y'all, and I used to be scared of that. I used to be scared of his beard and his hair, you know, and then he had always had a little, you know, threat. You better not be doing that, girl. You better not be acting up, and then you do, I'm gonna whoop your butt and all that. So I didn't really, you know, care for him, you know. I didn't like him. Just keep it 100. I did not like my dad. Okay. I didn't like to see him coming. I didn't want to talk to him on the phone. None of that. Okay. But when it came down to taking me Christmas shopping or buy me school clothes, oh, I was his best buddy. Oh yeah, I was his best buddy. But anyway, y'all, like I said, he come up all through the year. And usually when he come, he usually brings some of my uncles with him, or he'll bring my sisters with him, or, you know, or my aunties with him. He will always bring somebody with him, you know. So this went on since I was young, you know. It went on all the time. So y'all, and one thing, I had never ever been to his house before. I had never been to his house. I always talked to his wife on the phone. I never met her in person either. I just always talked to her on the phone. But I knew my sister now because he always bring them up with him. But it was like a distant sister. Hey, yeah, they my sister. Okay, keep pushing. But we never had anything. We never liked each other. Only one that I liked it and we got along was my youngest sister, Lisa. Her name was Delisa, and she passed away in 1992. God rest her soul. My other two sisters, we just going to call them V and A, okay? V and A, they never cared for me. You know, we always, when we seen each other, we always argue or get into a fight or something. You know what I'm saying? When he would bring them up with him. So, but yeah, that's just what it was. You know, every time he come up, you know, he'll bring them, you know, and they didn't like me. And, you know, and I was fine with I didn't like their ass either. You know what I'm saying? That's just how it went. So anyway, y'all, this particular year, like I said, I talk to him every day on the phone. If I don't talk to him every day, I talk to him every other day on the phone. So this particular time, y'all, I'm like walking around the house. I noticed that my mama got this big ass suitcase. So I'm looking at her with this big ass suitcase, and it's sitting on her bed. And every time I turn around, she's going into my room, getting shit out of my drawer. So I'm like, why she keep going in my room, getting stuff out my drawer and putting it in this damn suitcase? Baby, I used to cuss my ass off when I was 9 years old. And all the way up until now, I still cuss. You know, I try to slow down a little bit, but hey, it happens. So I say, Mama, why you keep packing in my clothes? Why are my clothes going in this suitcase? She was like, mind your business. So I just be quiet. So I ain't say nothing. So I'm just walking around the house, right? So I'm like, I wonder where the fuck I'm going. Where the fuck am I going? Like that. So all of a sudden, y'all, I heard a knock at the door. So when the knock, I looked up at my mama. And my mama looked at me and she went to the door. So I'm standing in the hallway. It's my dad, my 3 sisters, and my grandmama. And I'm looking at them like, what's today's date is? My birthday ain't passed. Why is he up here? I thought I had said it under my breath, but I said, what the fuck is they doing here? And my sister was like, oh, I heard you. I'm telling mama, I heard you. And I'm like, please don't tell her. Please don't tell her. Don't tell her. Yeah, I'm telling mama. Like that. So I'm like, this bitch gonna tell mama, and here these suckers is, why they at my house? So my dad came in, hey baby. Imagine I don't like him. I'm scared of him, you know. So my dad come in, he gave me a hug and everything, and my sister and them, they like, hey, they so phony. Only who I knew was genuine was my baby sister Delisa. I knew she was the only one that loved me, and she was like, hey, and my Delisha was like, hey, hey, give me a hug, give me a hug. So I gave Lisa a hug, but I didn't get VA no hug because I don't fuck with them, you know. So anyway, I'm just sitting there, I'm standing there, and I'm saying to my grandma, I was like, you ain't gonna give me no hug? So my grandmama's really, really a mouthy person. She just really quick temper. She quick. She believe in discipline. My grandmama believe in discipline. She don't mind. And my grandmama was a pincher. She will pinch your ass. If you acting up in the store doing something wrong, she quick to pinch you. And like that. So I walked up and said, hey, grandmama, gave her a hug. And I'm still saying to myself, now why the fuck is y'all here? That's what I want to know. Why are y'all here? So everybody got them a seat on the couch, right? So I'm just standing there. So my dad said, come here. And I looked at him and I looked at him like, like that, you know. My dad was like, come here. Come sit next to me. So I looked up at my mama and I was like, looking at her like, could I? My mom was like, no, gone. Because she don't let nobody sit on that couch, right? So she was like, gone. So I looked up at her again. She was like that. So I ended up walking around and go sit on the couch next to my daddy. Like that. And I'm saying to myself, now you don't let nobody sit on this couch, so I get to sit on here today, huh? Like that. So I'm sitting on the couch, with my dad sitting next to him and stuff, and I looked back at my mama and she go, like that. And I'm like, I looked at her. So I want to know why I got to sit next to him. So he was like, you ready? I'm like, ready for what? He said, you got your stuff packed? I said, why I got my stuff packed for what? He was like, well, you going to come spend the summer with me? I say, no, I'm not. Just like that. I didn't. Usually, y'all, I'd be scared to talk to my daddy or something. I said, no, I'm not. He was like, yeah, yes, you are. You going to stay with me for the summer. And I'm like, Mom, I'm going with him. My mom was like, yeah, you going with him for summer. And I was just I didn't want to tell you. I wanted him to tell you like that. I was like, Mama, no. I was like, Mama, you going to make the biggest mistake. You making a big mistake sending me with him. No, I don't know him like that. Why you sending me with him like that? My mom was like, girl, be quiet. That's your daddy, your sister, your grandmama and them. You stop it. You don't have to do that. I was like, Mama, you making a big mistake. I said, Mama, please don't send me down here. I said, it's going to be the worst mistake you can make to send me down here with these people. I don't know them. And y'all, I'm going to tell you, I have never got mouthy or said anything back to my mama or my daddy, but that day I did. I was like, Mama, please, please, please don't send me. Please don't send me. My mama said, you going with him and be quiet. Y'all, I fell out. I fell out on the floor, started screaming and hollering. Please don't send me. You making a big mistake. You making a big mistake. Don't send me, Mama. Don't send me, Mama. You making a big mistake. It's going to be the worst mistake ever, Mama. Don't send me. And like that. And my mom was just looking at me. And she just saw that I was really hurt behind it. I just cried. I cried. So my grandma was like, you better shut up. You're not going to keep disrespecting my son like that. You ain't going to disrespect my son like that. Get up off that floor crying. So I just kept on crying. Like, no, I don't want to go. I don't want to go with them. I don't want to go to his house. Mama, please don't make me go. So my grandmama got up off the couch, y'all, and came and pinched me. Baby, I screamed like somebody had I screamed. That's how hard I screamed. I screamed like somebody had cut me with a razor. That's how loud I screamed. I screamed because she had pinched me so hard. She pinched me so hard that she left a bruise on my arm. And I was like, see, Mama, I told you. Mama, don't send me. I told you something bad gonna happen. Mama, don't send me. Something gonna be the biggest mistake you make. Send me with them. You sending me with strangers. I don't know them, Mama. Don't. And I'm steadily crying. And my mama, and I got up and I walked to my mama and she hugged me. She said, stop crying. She said, you only gonna go down there for a couple of weeks. She said, you're not gonna stay long. You're not gonna stay the whole summer. I was like, Mama, please, you make a big mistake. And then I was rubbing my hand and my mama looked at my hand and my mama got mad. And she, you could tell my mama was mad because my hand had a red bruise on it. And my mama got mad. I said, see, Mama, don't send me down there. Don't send me, Mama. I know something wrong, bad gonna happen, Mama. Don't send me. So she was like, stop crying. She said, you're gonna be okay. Don't worry about it. You're gonna be okay. Like that. So anyway, y'all, the next morning come, y'all, sure the fuck is happening. My mama get me ready, get my clothes on and shit. My daddy knock on the door with my grandmama. And here she come, my grandmama, because she still got a little attitude about what she did to me. You know, how sassy she said that I was. So she come up to me. Good morning. If you go down there with that mess being sassy, you're going to always get your butt whooped. You act like that with me. I'm going to give you a whooping. I'm not like your daddy. I don't hesitate. I will whoop your butt. And I began to cry. I told my mom, I said, see, you shouldn't let me go with these people. And I said it right in their face. I said, you shouldn't let me go with these people because I know nothing about them. My mom was like, girl, come here. So she took me in a room. She's like, I love you and this, that, and other. He go my phone number. He go the phone number. He go your grandma's phone number. He go your great grandma's phone number. She gave me everybody's phone number. I said, you wouldn't have to do this if you wouldn't send me. You know, because I talk like that, you know. And she said, you're going to be okay. So anyway, y'all, I ain't never been in my daddy's house. So I'm thinking my daddy live around the corner and up and down the street and back again. No, baby, my dad lived in Michigan. It was a really long drive. I want to say it turned into an 8-hour drive because it turned into an 8-hour, almost 9-hour drive because my daddy was stopping at family members' house. He was stopping on the way. I mean, that was the most longest drive ever. It seemed like we kind of got home. It was like got to my dad's house like in the daytime. We left at night. When we got to my daddy's house, it was morning. Okay, when we left out. Okay, so the whole time we driving, I'm just crying because I didn't want to go because I felt something wrong was going to happen. That's why I didn't want to go. So anyway, we get to my dad's house and everything. He bring my suitcase in and all of that shit. So I come upstairs. I come in the house. I hear a dog barking. I'm terrified of all dogs. Okay, I'm like, where that dog at? Where that dog at? He was like, he okay. He in the basement. Like that. And I'm like, I'm scared of dogs, Daddy. I'm scared of dogs. He said, don't worry about it. He's not going to get out. Like that. I can't let him out yet because I got to take you around him so he can get used to you. Like that. He said, so don't nobody try to open up the door. So I know my sister heard my daddy say, don't let the dog out. She gonna say, Daddy, you want me to let the dog out? He was like, didn't I just tell you don't let that dog out because he don't know her yet? We got to introduce her to her. Like that. Oh, okay. He said, you better not let her out tomorrow. Don't let him out tomorrow either. He needs to stay in there until I take her down there and get him used to her. Like that. Oh, okay. Like that. I know she heard my daddy say that shit, right? So anyway, we go lay down and everything. The next day, that later on that day, you know, his wife was at work. So she came in. She had never met me. She had talked to me on the phone, but I had never met her personally. So when she came in, she looked at me. Oh, hi. You know, real funny. You know, look me up and down and look me up and down. She was like, you sure look like your daddy. And I was like, yeah, you know, like that. So I just, you know, sit back and was doing what I was doing. You know, she came and said hi. She went on to this now. And immediately, y'all, I felt that this lady didn't like me. Because not only that, my little sister already said that she didn't like her either. Okay. So I kind of felt that she didn't like me. Okay. So anyway, y'all, I wasn't even at their house a day or two. The shit started breaking out. So my sister, V, she started picking a fight with me for no reason at all. Then her sister come in and take up for her. So I got two motherfuckers arguing with me. Okay. But they only do this arguing shit when my daddy leave to go to work. Okay. And they mama in the room sleep. Okay. They only argue when my daddy leave. But when my daddy come home, they sweet as pie. You know, what you want to do? You want to go outside and play? They really nice to me when my daddy around. But when my daddy leave, them bitches be trying to start fights with me. But I had already made up my mind, y'all. If one of these bitches hit me, I'm gonna pick one of their ass up and I'm gonna whoop her ass with her. That's what I had made up my mind to do. And I already figured out how I was going to do it because one of the sisters was bigger than the other. So I was going to take that little bitty motherfucker. I was going to ring her around my motherfucker shoulder, and I was going to beat the shit out of her ass beat her ass with the other sister. That's what I had already made up my mind. So, like I said, they mama in the room and shit, and they just get to picking at me, Now, I'm downstairs in the basement. They know that my dad said don't let that dog out. Well, since you act like that, I'm going to let the dog out. I'm going to let the dog out. So I take off and run upstairs. I'm running upstairs and shit. And by the time I got upstairs and turned the corner and went into the room, baby, that motherfucking dog was on my tail. I slammed the door that fast enough where the motherfucker could have, it kind of like clipped him a little bit. He barked, so the mama get up. What's wrong with the dog? What happened? And she gonna say, she shut the door on him. She shut the door on him like that. And I know the mama said, I know I heard your daddy say don't let that dog out until he get home, until he let him out like that. Now take that dog back downstairs. So I was standing in the room and I was crying. I said, okay, bitches, that's the way y'all want to play it. It's on now. So my birthday come around. So hey, mama had to take me shopping. So the mama went by and got her girlfriend. So we walking around the store, y'all. So the mama couldn't find nothing for me. She was like, it's so hard to find clothes for her because she's so fat. She's so fat, it's so hard to find clothes for her. She's just so fat, I can't find nothing to fit her. But it's easy for me to find V and A some clothes because they so tiny. I don't have a problem by finding them no clothes. A, she wasn't as big as I was. You know what I'm saying? And I really wasn't big anyway. I was kind of like a little chubby girl. You know what I'm saying? Bitch, you could have found me some clothes. You was just being nasty towards me, right? So her friend was like, girl, yeah, she is big. So how you going to find her something? You ain't going to be able to find her nothing at this store because she's so big. You probably got to take her over there in the woman department. So her friend talking about me, so I'm like, damn, so she just kept calling me, come here, try these pants on. See, can you fit these pants? Try them or I can't fit them. Damn, you can't fit nothing in this store. Well, I ain't going to no another store. We'll go another time. Let's go, y'all. So she got all my sister and them clothes. But I didn't get anything because I was so big, as she said. I don't think it was that she couldn't find nothing for me, y'all. It's just that the fact to me, she didn't want to take the time out to look for something for me. Okay? That's just what I thought. That's what I felt. So anyway, I was crying in the car. They was like, Mom, she crying like that. And she was like, that's all she do is cry like that. So I'm like saying to myself, where'd all this shit come from? Why is she starting to be so fucking nasty towards me? So I didn't say anything. So I get home. I was like, can I call my mama? She was like, no, you can't call your mama. I was like, why not? She said, because your daddy, your mama talked about it. Your mama said that she wasn't going to call no more. And she didn't want you to call because every time she called, all you do is cry. And she don't want to upset you. So you can't call your mama. So y'all, I was like, what? So she started denying me for calling my mama. Okay? I wasn't able to call my mom. And I was like, damn. So I can't call my mama like that. So I went in the room and I shut the door and I just started crying. I'm like, I can't call my mama. I can't call my mama. I want to talk to my mama. So anyway, she go off of work. My daddy come in. So my daddy come in and stuff like that. So I didn't say nothing to my daddy. I didn't tell my daddy that she called me fat. I didn't tell my daddy that his wife was making fun of me with her friends. I didn't say anything. I just, was just trying to, figure out when I was going to go home. Because at that time, y'all, I wasn't really familiar about the days and the weeks. And I knew the days, but I didn't know nothing too much about the weeks and things, how long I was going to stay there. I just felt that I was there too long. When can I go home? So I wouldn't say, Dad, when I'm going home. He said, you won't be going home to the end of the summer. And I'm like, the end of the summer, that's a long time. I said, well, Dad, I want to go home. He was like, well, you're not going to go. You're not going home. You're going to be here for a while. So I went into the room and I just sat on the bed and I'm like, why did she bring me here? Why did she send me with these people? Anyway, still ain't told my daddy that his wife was calling me out my name. So the next day come, it's my birthday. So she went to the store, got a whole bunch of stuff that I asked for my birthday party and stuff like that. Y'all, did nobody come to my birthday party? So I kept saying, is Lisa gonna come? Lisa gonna come? No, Lisa can't come to your party. This is what the mamas kept saying. I said, Lisa can't come to my birthday party? No, Lisa can't come to the birthday party. The Lisa can't come to your birthday party. Her name is Delisa, but I call her Lisa. She said, Lisa can't come to your birthday party. I said, why Lisa can't come to? Because I said Lisa can't come to your birthday party. Like that, y'all. So we sitting there, ain't nobody at the party. They had invited some of their friends. Their friends didn't come over, so it's just me and my two sisters at the birthday party. So I was just sitting there, just eating chips and stuff, just sitting there with my head down because I'm ready to go home, you know. So anyway, I get up from the table because I didn't want to sit here with these two bitches no more. I get up from the table and I take my food in the room. So when I take my food in the room and shit, my sister gonna say, Mom, she in the room eating. She in the room eating. So her mama came, my Bernice came out that room, opened that door. You don't come in here eating. You don't come in here. Why you come with this ghetto shit? We don't eat in the room around here. I don't know why you come down here with this ghetto shit, because we don't do this ghetto shit down here. And I'm looking at her like, ghetto? The fuck is ghetto? You know what I mean? Because I never heard that word, you know, ghetto. She said, well, we don't eat in no room around here. I don't know what you do in your house, but down here we don't eat in no room. Get your ass out of this room. Get your ass out of this room and go sit down at the table. So I just start crying. So then my sister gonna say, Mama, she crying. And then she gonna say, fuck her ass, like that. And I was like, okay. I just started crying more. I said to myself, I told you, Mama. I told you not to send me. I knew something. I knew it. Like that. So then I got through eating my food. I went in the room and I just laid across the bed and I just cried myself to sleep. So I heard my daddy come in and he told me, come here. So when I came in there, he's like, why your face so swollen? He said, you been still crying? I was like, yeah, I was still crying. He said, well, what's wrong? What happened? I said, nothing. Ain't nothing happened. I said, I just want to go home. He said, yeah, I know you want to go home. So anyway, y'all, so I end up going downstairs with them. And as I'm sitting on the couch, they start picking on me. So now, y'all, it's over with. I'm done. I'm not finna not tell no more. Whatever the fuck finna come out, finna come up, I'm gonna tell it. Like that. This is just what I'm saying in my mind. So I'm sitting there. My sister was like, you better not tell Daddy what my mama said. I said, you better not tell me what the fuck to do. I said, who the fuck is you? Don't tell me what the fuck to say or do. Like that. Then she said, oh, I'm telling. I say, bitch, tell. I don't give a fuck. You tell who the fuck you want to tell. Like that. So she says, you say that again, I get up and slap you. And I say, bitch, when you slap me, that's going to be the last slap you ever slap anybody else. So, y'all, she proceeded to get her ass up off that couch, baby. And she came up to me like this, like she finna slap a motherfucker like this. Baby, I was too quick. When that bitch took her hand and finna swing, baby, I gave that bitch an uppercut. Bam! I busted her right in her chin. Hit that bitch right in her chin. Then I pounded in her face and shit. I was beating her motherfucking ass. I'm fucking her up. And then her sister gonna try to run up. I grab that bitch by her hair and pull her down and was fucking her up too. So I'm fighting both of them. They fighting me. We fighting. So I run upstairs. I start screaming. I'm tired. I want to go home. I want to go home right now. So I woke my daddy up out of his sleep. So he come out like, what's wrong? What's wrong with you, girl? What's wrong with you? What happened? I said, they both just jumped on me. I'm tired of them. I'm tired of being here. They all mean to me. They treat me like an animal. They treat me like a dog. I hate being here. I said, and Bernice told them, she talked about me to her friend, told me I was fat and they can't find me no clothes. She called me all out of my name, calling me fat. And then she told me, fuck you, fuck her. I don't care about her. Fuck her. Like that. I said, I'm ready to go home. I told my mama not to send me here. So my daddy was like, calm down. All of this shit happened. When is all this shit? He said, you just not telling me. I said, yeah. I said, call my mama right now. Call my mama right now. So as I'm hollering and screaming, my mom called. My mom called because she hadn't heard from me in almost 3 weeks. They wouldn't let me call her. And she didn't call. So it's about almost 3 weeks since my mama heard. So she just called. She said, she heard me hollering, screaming. She said, what's wrong with my baby? What's going on? What's wrong with my baby? Why my baby hollering like that? What happened to my baby? What happened to my baby? She said, I felt my baby. I felt my baby. She said, that's why I called her. Because I felt my baby. Something was wrong. I said, Mama, I told you something, baby. I said, Mama, they been jumping on me. I said to Mama, Bernice told her, said, fuck me. She called me fat. She did all of this this stuff to me for no reason. My mom was like, she did what? She said, put your daddy on the phone. So she on the phone, so my mama going off. He was like, okay. She said, bring my baby home right the fuck now. Bring my baby home today, not tomorrow. Bring my baby home now. You tell your wife I'm gonna beat her motherfucking ass and all la. It was just a big old mess, y'all. It was a big mess and stuff. So my dad finally got my mama calmed down, told her I ain't gonna let nobody hurt your baby and all of that type of stuff. And then my dad was like, got off the phone with my mama. He was like, why you didn't tell me? I said, another thing you didn't know, that I say, V locked me outside the door. She locked me out in the rain. This girl locked me outside the house, y'all. She wouldn't let me in. She locked me out. Y'all, I had to sit on the porch in the rain. In the rain, y'all. She wouldn't even let me in. It so happened she had just opened up the door and let me in because my daddy had just pulled up in the driveway. That's the only reason why I ended up getting in the house. She let me in the house just enough time when my daddy pulled up. I had just came in and shut the door and my daddy pulled up. But I didn't tell my daddy that. I didn't tell him none of that. So it all ended up, y'all. It all ended up. I end up going home. It all ended up, my daddy was like, your mama said I got to bring you home today. So my daddy ended up calling off for work. He was like, hey, let me call around and get somebody to come go with me, take you home. This and that and other. So he called his wife. He like, you got to come home because it's been a big mess. He say, but when you get here, me and you gonna talk when you get here. Like that. So I'm in the room packing up my shit. She get to the house. I heard my daddy say, now who the fuck you calling fat? So you said calling my baby out her name in front of your motherfucking bitch ass friends. You call my baby out of her name, calling her fat. He said, bitch, I will beat your ass about my baby. You don't call her out of her name. You don't talk about her like that. Then you told her, fuck her, fuck you. And then I heard like a thump, y'all. He had popped that bitch upside her head like that. Like, oh, I'm sorry, baby. I didn't mean to say that. I didn't mean to hurt her feelings. I'm sorry. He said, now take your ass in there and apologize to her. She was like, I'm sorry. I didn't mean to say that. I'm so sorry. Please forgive me. Please forgive me. I was like, man, fuck this joint and fuck y'all too. I'm ready to go, And I didn't say nothing to her. I just looked at her. I'm just like, I'm ready to go. So I'm packing up all my shit. I get all my shit packed up. I'm sitting by the motherfucking front door. My daddy said, you really trying to get out of here, ain't you? I said, yes, I'm ready to go. So he said, but before we leave, I want to take you and your sister to the expo. And the expo is considered over there. It's a carnival. We call it, it's a carnival where we at, but they call it an expo where they live at. I didn't want to talk to nobody. Only time I opened up my mouth when we played the game to get a fish. So I won a fish, y'all. I grabbed my little fish, held them in my hand. You don't want to play them again? Nope, I'm ready to go. So he ended up taking them home. They was trying to give me a hug. I walked away. Give me a hug. See you later. I walked away. Didn't even want to say shit to them. Bitches, y'all crazy as hell. Like that. And then she said, I just want to tell you, you can fight. Hell yeah, I can fight. I said, you learned the hard way, didn't you? And she was like, I can tell you the truth. You really know how to fight. I told my mama that you know how to fight. Ooh, you know how to fight. I said, uh-huh. I said, I bet you did. I said, I bet you know next time, right? Like that. So I end up jumping in the van, shut that damn door. I'm like, I don't even want to see their ass. So my daddy, he talking, he say, you gonna come back down here again? I say, no, not never. And I meant that. I said, no, not never. I said, I don't never want to come back down here. I said, your wife don't like me, and your daughters don't like me either. He said, you mean your sisters? I say, well, if that's what you want to call them, they don't like me either. I said, only who like me is Lisa. And then you tell Lisa that I love her and I hope I see her soon. Like that. I said, when you come to visit me, only bring Lisa. Don't bring nobody else. Like that. He said, you really don't like them. I said, I do not like them. I don't want to ever see them again. All right, let me hurry up with the story. Okay, y'all. So long story short, I end up going home, and my daddy dropped me off, and then he ended up going back home and stuff. So y'all, years and years later, after that happened, I had never ever went to Michigan again. I had never been back to Michigan again. So the next time I went to Michigan, y'all, I was a grown adult with children, okay? So what I did was I didn't let my daddy know that I was coming. I was going to Saginaw, Michigan. My daddy stayed in Flint, Michigan. So I went up with one of my girls. I went up there with them. So I called my daddy on the phone, and I was like, hey, what's going on? And he's like, where you at? I said, I'm around. He said, you gotta be here because you calling me from a Michigan number. Like that. I'm like, yeah. I said, I'm in Michigan. He said, who house you at? He said, where you at? Like that. So I told him where I was at, and y'all, it wasn't. He said, give me the address. He said, I'm gonna come over there right now. I'm gonna come over there where you at right now. And I was like, okay. So sure enough, I told him where I was at. My daddy pulled up, y'all. I hadn't seen my daddy. I had seen him plenty of time when I was a little, after I've been at his house. I had seen him way more time than that, way more time than that. He was there when I had my first child. He was there when I had my first child, but he had never seen me no more in the state of Michigan, okay, since that happened. I had never been back there. That was my very first time back there since, that shit had happened, back then. So anyway, he come in, y'all. My dad is a really, really friendly person. He don't even got to know you, but he really friendly. You going to like him right away. So he come in and shit, and everybody standing in there. They were like looking like, who is this? And I was like, this is my dad. And they was like, oh, okay. So the mother, my friend mother, she came out and said, who is this? I'm like, this is my daddy. She was like, oh, hey, how he doing? And she was like, oh, he's handsome. Like that. So she was kind of flirting with my daddy. My daddy just smiling and shit. Then he was like, girl, what you doing up here? This, that, and another. So I was hugging him and giving him a big hug and stuff like that. So now, y'all, and I'm a grown adult, I love my daddy. I like hanging out with my daddy. I love to be around him, y'all. When I was a little kid, I couldn't stand him. But now that I'm a grown adult, I love being with my daddy, y'all. It's not a time that I did want to be with him. Anytime that go on, anything going on, my daddy will come up. Me as being a grown adult, he would come up and visit and hang out with me, come to my house and all of that stuff. So I love being with my daddy. So anyway, he was there, we kicked it and stuff like that. And then he said, hey, I'm gonna come back over here tomorrow. And so now my dad is remarried with his new wife. Okay. So anyway, the next morning my dad come over, he bring his wife and shit, which, I didn't talk to her on the phone a few times. I didn't see her a few times as well, so, whatever. We go out to eat, we kicking it, we talking and shit like that there. And so my dad was like, I want you to go back to my house with me. And I'm like, cool. So I go to my dad's house and shit. And we sitting there at his house. I get to his house. He got a big ass house, beautiful house, swimming pool, everything. His crib is laid the fuck out. Okay. Beautiful, big, beautiful home. So we sitting there kicking it. So we go in this man cave, y'all. We down in this man cave. It's decked all out just for him. Just everything for him. It just was real cool. We just kicked it. We kicked it. So then he was like, so I was like, hey, Dad, I'm going to get ready. I got to get back over this way because I'm leaving out in the morning and shit like that. So he dropped me back off and he said, I'm going to be over here in the morning before you leave. So sure enough, my daddy came over in the morning before I left. He gave me a big hug. He threw me some money for the kids and shit. And we just kicked it, like that. So all through the years, y'all, my dad always came where I was at. He always came where I at. Wherever I moved to, my daddy was with me. He always visited me wherever I was at. When I had my first baby, he was there. When I had my second baby, he was there. Now, my last two kids, y'all, he never got a chance to meet them because he had passed away already. When I had my youngest daughter, my dad had took bad off sick, and I didn't know it. I didn't find out that he was sick. My daddy took bad off sick in 2007. I did not find out how sick he was in 2009. And I would call my dad. I would call him, and I'll be like, what you doing? Oh, I'm cutting grass. I'm about to get out here and cut this grass and this and that. And the whole time, y'all, he telling me for 2 years that he was cutting grass and he was barbecuing and stuff like that. My dad wasn't even walking. He had lost his ability to walk. He wasn't walking anymore. My daddy hadn't walked in 2 years before he passed away. So, that was hard, because the only reason how I found out through my auntie told me, because his wife didn't tell me anything. So anyway, y'all, my dad ended up passing away in 2009. So I go to Michigan to the funeral. I go to the funeral and I see all my cousins, all my uncles. I seen one of my uncles that I hadn't seen in so long, and when I got the car, he was like, girl, come here. He was like, look at you. He said, the last time I saw you wasn't nothing but a little girl. You all grown up. He was like, man, how you doing, baby? And he just gave me a hug. He said, I hadn't seen you in so long. He said, these your kids? I'm like, yeah. He said, oh my goodness. He said, they look like you when you was younger. So, yeah, so that's when I was at my dad's funeral. So I went to my dad's funeral and everything. And y'all, I'm going to tell you something. That was one of the most saddest, besides my mom. That was a sad funeral because, here's somebody that I didn't even really enjoy when I was a little girl. But then when I became a woman, I just loved him so much. It wasn't a day that I didn't call them. It wasn't a day that, we laughed on the phone, So yeah, y'all, that's just a little story of my dad. I got plenty of stories about my dad. If y'all want to hear more about him, let me know. I can tell you the story about when we went on a family trip, and we went on a family trip together. Me as an adult with my dad. That was wild. And also, I can tell y'all the story about our family reunion. The last time I saw him was at my family reunion, at his family reunion. That was the last time I touched him. That was the last time I talked to him. When I saw him again, he was in his casket. That was the last time. So if y'all want to hear about that story, when the last time I talked to my daddy and hold him and loved on him, I can tell y'all that story as well. So y'all, I know this is a long story, but I just wanted to share that story with y'all because it is my daddy's anniversary, his heavenly anniversary, y'all. I just want to let y'all know that, if you got your parents, love on them. Call them every day. You know what I mean? Whatever you're going through with them, let bygones be bygones, and just tell your parents that you love them. You ain't got to talk to them all day long. Just let them know that you love them. You know what I mean? Because when you a person like me that don't have no father or no mother, it's a lonely feeling. It's a very lonely feeling out here. Because I'm going to tell you, it be days, it be hard, cold days that I wish that I had either one of them or both of them. But y'all, I don't, and I know they're in a better place, but I sure do miss them. You know what I'm saying? But in the meantime, between time, y'all, that's the end of the story. I hope you guys enjoy it. I know it's a long story. I know it is a long story, you guys. I don't know if I'm going to break the story in two, or I'm just going to let it ride out. Okay, y'all? So if you guys got any comments, leave them down below. Just be mindful. Okay, y'all. And that being said, y'all, God bless each and every one of y'all. Y'all stay safe. Always keep your head up and never, never, ever, 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 never, ever, ever, never let anybody sit on your happiness. All right, y'all. God bless. And y'all stay safe. And I'm out of here. Peace.